change, much more than before, runs through all the programs that we are implementing. We have, for example, I can give you a few examples in education. We are supporting the development of curricula on climate change. We're mobilizing our network of 11,000 UNESCO associated schools. In the sciences, we have a big network of UNESCO designated sites, among them the biosphere reserves, that are really learning laboratories for sustainable development, where different actors come together at the local level to create a learning experience for all citizens on sustainable development. In culture, we're trying to mobilize the contribution of culture to sustainable development and making the World Heritage Sites climate resilient. And then in communication, among a number of activities, we are concerned with the role of the media and journalists to raise awareness about climate change. So it's a big spectrum of activities, and in terms of raising the ambition and helping countries to meet the ambitions under the NDCs, we're trying to scale up that work really in all the program sectors. Of course, the question, why is youth important in this context? It's their future. It's them. It's all about them, really. It's their future that is at stake. They have, in a very, very concrete sense, they have a stake in sustainable development and in climate change. So it's really high time that their voices are heard. And at UNESCO, we are trying to take that push from young people very, very seriously. And we are integrating youth action really, again, in all our program areas. We've just launched at the COP here a youth climate network. And in our education work, we're also focusing on all ages, but in particular on young people, of course. We have one important new framework that we just approved within UNESCO. And that is a new framework for education for sustainable development that was just 2 weeks ago approved by our member states unanimously. We call it Education for Sustainable Development for 2030, and it focuses really on the contribution of education to all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Climate, of course, the central one and the key one, is the key challenge of our times. But as everyone who is engaged with climate change also knows, climate change is not an isolated phenomenon. It has interconnections with all the other SDGs. It impacts on peace, it impacts on economic development, and impacts on all the nature-related goals. So what we're trying to focus on in education very much is how can really students of all ages, starting with young people, how can they be mobilized and how can they be empowered to contribute to all the sustainable development goals, and including climate change. We're doing this together with many different stakeholders. It's important, of course, to look at the ministries of education, teachers, but then also stakeholders that go beyond the traditional education sector, community actors, for example. So that's one of the big new directions we're taking.